Okay, you know that feeling. The meeting ends, and that's when your real job begins. You've got the follow-ups, the action items, and oh boy, the dreaded meeting minutes. Well, today we're going to put on our detective hats and solve a classic workplace mystery, the case of the chronically late meeting minutes.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? You have this great, super productive meeting, everyone's on the same page, and then all that amazing momentum just gets completely swallowed by this administrative quicksand. But for one company we're looking at today, this wasn't just, a minor annoyance. No, this was a serious, serious business risk.
So, get this. The stakes were incredibly high here. This company was providing meeting support for a huge U.S. federal agency, and their contract was crystal clear. Meeting minutes had to be submitted within 2 business days, period. Failure was just not an option. But they wanted to do more than just meet the deadline. They wanted to be early, to really impress their client and lock in that contract renewal.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to break down the problem, check out the detective's toolkit they used, it's called DMAIC, then follow the investigation through the define and measure and analyze and improve phases. Then there's a pretty big twist in the story we'll get to, and finally, we'll uncover the real lesson here.
Okay, first things first. Every good investigation starts with understanding the scene of the crime, and in this case, the crime was inefficiency, and the victim was the deadline.
So let's be super clear about this 2-day deadline. This wasn't just about, checking a box, it was about blowing past expectations. The team knew that if they could consistently deliver those minutes before the 2-day mark, it would be a massive win, a huge point in their favor when it came time to renew that all-important contract. The pressure was definitely on.
Now, you can't solve a case like this on hunches alone. Nope, you need a system, a proper toolkit, and that's exactly what this team brought in. Their secret weapon? A powerful problem-solving framework from the world of Lean Six Sigma called the DMAIC method. And DMAIC is actually pretty straightforward. It's a 5-step process. First, you define the problem. Then, you measure how big it is. Third, you analyze what's causing it. Fourth, you improve the process to fix it. And finally, you control the new process to make sure that fix actually sticks. It's like a perfect roadmap for solving any business mystery.
All right, toolkit in hand, the investigation begins. First up, define and measure. It's time to stop guessing and start getting the facts straight, gathering some cold, hard evidence. So in the define phase, they laid out their mission. The goal was super clear. Get at least 60% of all meeting minutes submitted early. And this is so important, they put the right people on the case. Not just managers, but the supervisor and the meeting coordinators, the folks who actually knew the process inside and out. Their whole approach was brilliant. Let's improve the system, not blame the people.
Next up, the measure phase. They crunched the numbers, looking at a full year of data to get their baseline. And what did they find? On average, only 50.8% of minutes were getting out early. Oof, they were already missing their 60% goal right from the start. But now they had it, a hard number. The investigation had its starting point.
Okay, so they knew what the problem was and how big it was. Now it was time for the really interesting part, figuring out why it was happening. This is where the detective work really starts to heat up, as the team hunts for the real culprits behind the delays.
To do this, they used another cool tool called a failure modes and effects analysis, or FMEA for short. Yeah, it sounds a little complex, but just think of it like this. The team basically played pre-mortem detectives. They got in a room and brainstormed every single thing that could possibly go wrong in the entire process, and then they ranked each of those potential failures based on how likely they were to happen and how bad the damage would be.
And wow, did that analysis pay off? It pointed them to 2 main culprits. The number 1 suspect, with a huge risk score of 280, was something we can all relate to. Simple workplace distractions after the meeting was over. Emails, phone calls, people stopping by the desk. The second biggest issue? Problems happening during the meeting itself, like coordinators having to juggle other tasks or just not being able to hear the speaker. So, the investigation had narrowed it down to 2 very clear questions they needed to answer. First, how can we create a bubble of focus for our coordinators in a busy, distracting office? And second, how can we make the actual note-taking process way more efficient? This launched them right into the improve phase. The team just let the ideas fly, brainstorming everything they could think of. Things like a do not disturb flag for their desks, blocking off their calendars for focus time, pre-writing parts of the minutes, even adding a second coordinator.
But they didn't just pick their favorite ideas. They got systematic again, using something called a prioritization matrix to score which ideas would give them the biggest bang for their buck, the most effective, and the easiest to actually do.
And after all that, 2 winning ideas emerged that they decided to test out. The first one was just beautifully simple, a physical flag they could put on their desk. It was a clear signal to everyone, hey, I'm compiling minutes right now, please don't interrupt. The second was a really clever process tweak, pre-writing the minutes. Basically, filling in the template with all the known info, like agenda items, before the meeting even started.
Okay, so the solutions are in place. The team moves into the final phase, control, to monitor the results. They're feeling good, confident the case is closed. But this is where our story takes a really unexpected twist.
And at first, the results were amazing. I mean, look at this. For the first 4 months after making the changes, the solutions worked like a charm. The average for early submissions shot up from 50.8% all the way to 59.5%. They were right there, knocking on the door of their 60% goal. The project was officially declared a success, case closed. Or was it?
Well, not exactly. Because when the researchers came back to check on the data a bit later, they found something that showed this story was far from over. That early success, it hadn't lasted.
When they looked at the full 10-month picture, the results were actually shocking. The overall average for early submissions had plummeted all the way down to 49.3%. That's even lower than where they started. So what on earth happened? Right? Did the desk flags just magically stop working? Did everyone just forget how to pre-write the minutes? What was going on?
Well, the answer wasn't a flaw in their solutions. The answer was the real world. Think about the timing here. This was happening in early 2020. Suddenly, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, forcing a massive overnight shift to 100% remote work. The desk flags? Kind of useless when everyone's office is their kitchen table. On top of that, their workload temporarily doubled, they had a bunch of staff turnover, and training new people remotely was a huge challenge. The system wasn't just tweaked, it was hit by a tidal wave of pure chaos. So you might be thinking, okay, so the whole project was a failure then? But here's the thing, absolutely not. In fact, this chaotic twist is what reveals the real lesson, the most important takeaway from this whole story.
And this quote just nails it. Changes need to be made to the work system, not the people in the system. See, the DMAIC process worked perfectly. It correctly found the flaws in the original system. The desk flag and the pre-writing were the right solutions for that system. The project didn't fail. The entire world just threw it a massive curveball that nobody could have planned for. And it proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you have to fix the system, not blame the people.
And that really leaves us with this final big question to think about. How can a process be successful even when the final numbers don't look perfect? Because true success here wasn't about hitting a 60% target. It was about building a smarter system and, more importantly, learning how to analyze and adapt when the world, inevitably goes crazy. The numbers on a chart can change, but the knowledge you gain from the process, that's forever.